Oh, that was a good one.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. Awesome Life 101.
Good morning. So, happy Thanksgiving, happy Black Friday, happy Cyber Monday. I hope everybody is enjoying their holidays at home with their family this weekend. And we are here to talk about your success character. So, let's give a quick overview of the concept of a success character,
Mm-hmm.
and then we can go back and really dig into the details. So the concept is imagine you are an actor and you're preparing for a role and you are thinking about this role that you're going to play, this character that you're going to play, and how would they walk into the store? How would they get into their car? What do they wear to bed? You're just putting together all the pieces of this character. So that's the same thing that we are encouraging ourselves and everyone to do with the success character. Again, this is not our idea. It comes from the book Unlock Your Potential by Jeff Lerner. But really want to think about this version of yourself, the very best possible version of yourself. And sometimes I think about like if all the bills were paid and there was extra money in the bank and I just, my kids had turned out great, everything is great, maybe 10 years from now, everything's just perfect. How would I feel? Right? What would I have to have put into place? So, all the confidence, all the generosity, all the self discipline, perseverance, all of that, that's how I would wake up in the morning. That's how I would do my meditations, do my workout, eat my breakfast, putting it all together into a success character. And for some people, they prefer to name their success character a different name, right? What would Diane do? What would, Anthony do? So that you can kind of shift into that character. And when you go into social situations, you can allow this best version of yourself to play out like a character. And it really allows over time as you step into it, you practice it as a character, as you're acting. It allows you to get comfortable with this version of yourself. And it allows you to see how other people would react to this version of yourself. And over time, it gets more and more comfortable to just be this best version of yourself. Because that doesn't happen what's the word I want to say? Everything we want to do to have our awesome life is with intention, right? Um, Go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah,
Yes, step up.
yeah, you gotta have intention to life. It's much better when you have intention to life. So the character that you want to create is what you want it to be in the future, and then you leave it now. All right, you whatever you want to be in the future, and then you imagine all the things you can do, all the possibilities, all right, and then bring it to now, to the moment, and then start to live in the moment, all right. Um, it's it's like for example, it's like actors. Okay, actors will create some kind of character. For example, I have a lot of movies. For example, like Fast and Furious. All right, I watch those movies, and I watch all the seasons. All right, and to me, those personality on the movie, they're exactly who they are. I know them for like with the palm of my hands. All right, but the reality that they are not that person. They are different person where they are live with their own families and their friends. They have different character. So that's what we want to create, right? Something that will push us to be um, to be ourselves, right? To be ourselves. But well, for us right now, we have a lot of self beliefs that we have some long time ago that will kind of block us to actually really be ourselves. All right, that's why we have a lot of self doubts about we're not good enough. or we cannot do this right, or I don't remember people's name, you know what I mean? All that stuff is what we had the self belief that, oh, I'm not good with the people's name anyway. All right, I used to do that a lot. Um, but and then I decide to no,
I'm
I'm
gonna be the kind of person.
yes, that will know everybody's name. Oh, yeah, I'm very good with the people's name. Oh, yeah, that's easy. And I start practicing that, practicing every single day. And actually, when you practice to be that person you really want to be, that's what you're gonna be. All right, which is very very interesting because practice will take you farther in life. And create your character to be what you want to be one day is much easier to get you there.
I love that. There's two things that you said that I want to remember to come back to. So one, I want to talk about how this works in your brain, the psychology of it,
Mm-hmm.
and the other, remind me to come back to talking about I am.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how it works in your brain, maybe you know from Freud, the id, the ego, and the superego. Well, the superego is your success character. It's like this best version of you. It's the most authentic version of you. It's like when a baby is born and they are their most perfect selves, right? And then things happen and they learn to limit themselves. They learn self-doubt, right? And that's the ego protecting you
Mm-hmm.
so that you don't get hurt. And so the ego says, don't be a fool. Don't be like, you know, don't make a fool of yourself,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Don't embarrass yourself.
Yeah.
And so that's the part of you that we want to override by pretending that we're acting,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
By saying, I'm playing a character. So when I go out, and this can be fun when you go to social situations that maybe don't involve your normal friends and family, because they'll call you out, right? At first, they might call you out and be like, what are you doing? But this is so subtle, but it's really fun if you go to, a bar you've never been to, or a restaurant you've never been to, or some kind of gathering, right? And you get to really step into this character. And as you introduce yourself and just be who you truly want to be. And you're training your ego that it is okay, that actually this version of yourself is safe. Those self-limiting thoughts that you developed when you were a very young child, to not be embarrassed or not be a fool because it's not safe, those served you. And you can express gratitude for how they've kept you safe so far, but you don't need that anymore.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Now you can be safe and be your truly authentic self. Right?
Yeah.
And choose what you want to express into the world.
Yeah.
And so then I wanted to talk about I am, because I am is, I am that I am. I am is a very, very powerful, I would say, magic spell. It's a very powerful affirmation that this is who I am. And so I want you to really pick up on this for yourself and anyone that you love who's near you. If there's any limiting thoughts, like Tovy said, I'm not good with names. I'm not a very good cook. I am a little bit lazy. I am anything that's a negative thought, that you're casting that spell on yourself. Just think of it that way. You're telling the universe and anybody who hears you, and even your own brain, this negative thing about yourself.
Yeah, I mean, words is magic.
Words are magic.
Believe it or not, words is magic.
I mean, that's the whole, if you read the Bible, the whole, Genesis, the words are the magic, right?
The words is magic.
So think about, this is about your affirmations. I am resilient. I am self-disciplined. I am confident. I am compassionate. I am funny. I am generous. I am grateful. And you can just come up with them each day. Just think of 5 positive character traits about yourself. It doesn't matter if you believe them yet or not. The more you repeat them, then the more they will become true.
Yeah.
So you can just do this, in the morning when you're brushing your teeth, you can think of them. I have mine written up in a couple different places
Mm.
in the house. The most important ones for me to be manifesting and to be embodying every day. And in fact, I say, I am a confident, creative, energetic queen, harmoniously thriving in abundance. Every day I say it over and over when I go for a jog or I go for a walk or I'm sitting at a
Yeah.
stoplight. I'm a confident, creative, energetic queen, harmoniously thriving in abundance. Right? I just keep repeating it and keep repeating it. And guess what? It keeps coming true.
Yeah. Yeah. And one thing very important we wanted to stress is like we don't try to tell you to fake until you make it. All right, it's not about fake until you make it. We have this expressed in the society. Say, oh, you fake until you make it. Actually, we even have actors, on live TV saying that fake until you make it. But actually, that's not the right way to do things in life. You gotta be until you see it. All right, you have
Be
to
it
be it until you see
until
it. You
you
have to
see it.
create a character until you see it, until it became something natural. All right. I will give you another example about myself because when I born, I had a cliff palate. But of course, it wasn't outside for people can see. Actually, most of the people in my life don't know how I no
What you went
what
through.
I went through in my life, all right? Because my cliff bottom was internal, all right. So the first time I spoke, I was 5 years old, all right. The first time I say letter A, I was 5 years old, and I remember I see my dad watch me through the window and just cry because he heard my voice for the first time when I was five, right? Um, my daughter, at the time saying, no, I didn't see a lot of possibility for me to be talking and go to school and get some college degree and all that stuff. Because he is that's where he is. That's where he's gonna be. He's gonna be delayed in school. It's gonna be all this stuff. So for me, it was like, oh, this guy is not worth it. All right, basically, all right. But if I stayed on that belief that my doctor already told me I'm not good enough, I would never be where I am today. All right, and just to see it that all the struggles I had when I was little, and but I didn't stop. All right, I started to and I had a lot of like bully. I had a lot of bullies. Not the way I talk and all that. But that didn't stop me. I had to be somebody that I wanted to be. So I forced myself. I said one word a million times until I said that right. All right. I learned to do the words one by one, and every single word I use it more than a million times so I can practice the words so I can talk. All right. But that's something I did in my own time with nobody around because I had to speak, but nobody can see it. All right. I had to do that to myself, and now I'm sitting right here on the live basically and talk to the world. All right, and but nobody knew that I I started speaking when I was five. My actually is not even speak. I just say some words. All right, I actually when my first grades, first, second grade, fourth grade, I was a very smart kid. I can do my work. I can do my stuff. But you don't ask me to read. I would have read at school.
Mm-hmm.
All right, because I was so terrified about reading because I didn't know, because even my teachers used to, joke about it when I started reading. And I had a teachers that would make me read just for them laughing behind.
Mm.
All right. So that all that thing it gave me not
Insecure.
insecure. It gave me insecure, but also it gave me the power to actually force myself in the character that I wanted to be. I wanted to be talking with everybody and anyone. I wanted to be learn a different language. I wanted to do everything that has to do with the language. You know what I mean? So I had to create that character so I can be who I am today. All right. And yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. So we wanted to spend some time talking about some character traits. Because one thing you can do is read about successful people. Find role models that you want to copy, right? It's not fake it till you make it, but you're going to be it till you see it. You got to choose what are these traits that you want to have in your life. And so read biographies or watch biographies of people and pick up what are the traits, what kind of character do they have that you want to have in your life. So Tovy and I pulled together a handful of different character traits or personality traits that successful people tend to exhibit. And so these are things that we want to pull more into our lives, right? Exhibit more, and to encourage you or to share these ideas with you so you can think about them in your life. So the first one is perseverance. And I know that this is one that I've been working on a lot, especially because I was a teacher previously, and now we are full-time tech people, and there's a lot that goes on with like coding and workflows. It's just a lot of tech and like losing passwords. And so I've had to develop a new kind of perseverance to not let the tech throw me off and ruin my day, and just know that I have the skills. I am good at tech. I just had to build that in. Like, I'm good at tech. I can persevere, right? And so, like, overcoming that hurdle.
Yeah.
Same thing, like, I don't know if you noticed was it last week's call, I was developing a sore throat. And so it's like persevering through that, overcoming the obstacle and just doing the thing anyway. I am someone who perseveres. I am someone who overcomes my obstacles, right?
Yeah.
That's the new me.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about perseverance, or should we move on?
Yeah, we can move on to hardworking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Successful people are hard workers.
Yeah. You have to. You can just dream about do something or be something and wait for it. You know, you have to put your mind and soul into it. You know, and
put in the hours. You know, something I hear all the time when we're listening to podcasts or whatever is put in the reps.
Yeah. I mean, your time is everything, guys, and you know you gotta remember, time never stops. And if we can use every minute of our time to do something meaningful to ourselves, to our living, you know, you will see the result. You will see the result. If you improve yourself 1% every single day, you know what I mean? That's 365%.
It's actually more because of the compounding, but yes, it's a lot. You're going to be a lot different next year.
A lot different next year. I mean, for example, you can see in myself right here. I mean, just over a year ago, you know, I used to not be on Facebook. I had a Facebook account, but you don't even see my pictures on there. I don't even like to put pictures on Facebook. I didn't like to create you know, videos or reels and stuff. I didn't like to do any other stuff. I just think it was like a just BS. All right, why I have to do that? But then I had to, you know, I decided I want to own my own business. All right. But when I wanted to do my own business, I didn't think about had to do all this video, all this, you know, broadcast and all that stuff. That wasn't the intention of it. But turns out that what I wanted to do, you know, to the war, I need that social media so I can express myself to the war, so I can help the people in the war. All right. But and then it turns out I had all new skills I had to learn, which is a computer skills, you know, which is everything about a computer, because, you know, I didn't work on the computer a lot in my life. I was a computer technician back in the late 90s and 2000, but you know, unfortunately, I never worked on it exactly because you know, the company I wanted to work for got laid off a lot, 15,000 people in 2001. So I ended up parking cars. I ended up working hotel, restaurants, and all that. So I never had to need a computer, to work. And just a year ago, I started actually, working, truly work with the computer. It's like computer is my life now. Right? I say, I even the typing, I'm typing faster now. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I used to type with one finger at a time, and you're like one, two, where's the other one? But now it's getting much easier every day. Why? Because I decide that I am a good typer. I'm good with the computer,
And you've put in the
and I put
hours.
the hours to it. All right. But if I was keep telling myself, "No, computer's not for me," I leave it there. Computer's not for me. What's gonna happen? Computer will never gonna be for me. But I had to change that because I know that I have to use the social media. I have to do the live. I have to do all these so I can bring what really my work is. But my work actually is not to be in the social media, but I need a social media to do my work. All right, you know what I'm saying? So I have to create this character that I'm a good at computer. I'm a good at technology. I have, to be until I see it.
Margaret just commented something I think is totally profound, that action tells your body that you are serious about your thoughts.
Oh yeah,
Right? So if you're like, oh, I want to get in shape,
yeah,
but you don't go to the gym or you don't do exercise, then you're telling your mind, I don't really want to get in shape.
yeah,
Right?
yeah,
So action tells your body that you're serious about it.
yeah,
I love that.
yeah. I love
And
that.
that's the same thing where, some days you work so hard and then it gets to the end of the day and you realize like there's still work to be done,
Mhm.
and you stay up late and you
Yeah.
get it done. And that is part of your success character, because your failure character would just blow it off.
Oh yeah, you fail correct when you to fail, because that's why they want to how they're going to succeed. All right. You know what I mean? And they like to succeed. They like to get
So,
you in bed and stay there all day.
yeah. So, a third character trait of a successful people is belief. Belief in their goals and that they're achievable, belief in themselves, belief in other people. They have certain beliefs of what other people, will follow through with, for example. Can be spiritual or religious beliefs, but there's a lot of faith and belief in successful people.
Mhm.
And so that's a character trait that if you want to be successful, you might want to explore. And as you're listening or watching biographies of successful people, look for examples of that.
Yeah, yeah.
We've kind of talked about discipline and self-discipline, being able to get yourself to do the things that you say you want to do.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and then a positive mindset kind of goes along with belief.
Yeah.
But assuming the best in others, assuming the best capabilities of yourself.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, um, for example, online we'll have a lot of great information. We have a lot of bad informations, right? That's why it's hard to trust anything you see online. All right. But it's very important for when you see something online. So great information that you think is great information is great to do more research to it. So you really can focus on that particular yeah, 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 subject that you think that is great, but you don't trust it that much. If you don't trust something, just do more research to it. Yeah, and then don't just give up. Oh, that they're lying. Oh, that's no good. Oh, let it go, because there's so much opportunity out there that is to grab. All right. For example, before I joined Entra, to become entrepreneur, yeah, I had a 7 months of emails and all this stuff coming to my stuff, and I never look at it. I didn't believe it. I said, no, that's too good to be true. No, no, I don't believe in that stuff. No, no, that's not for me. All right, but And one day at 2 o'clock in the morning, I was really like, I was stressed because I don't like my job anymore. I wanted to change career. I don't know what to do, but I don't want to work for anybody else. So I end up open that email and see what the Entra had for me. All right. And the one of the reason I joined Entra because they told me clear, it's a hard work. All right. We have all the material. We have everything for you to succeed as entrepreneur, but it's depend on you. You have to put on your time. You have to put on the hard work. All right. We have the material. If you use it, you work hard, you will succeed. And that kind of struck me because I said, you know what? Actually, this is the first online kind of business that tell me that I have to do the work, and didn't tell me, oh, just give me some money, you will be millionaire in the next 24 hours. So the reason I believe that way, they told me exactly, I have to put on the time, I have to put on the hard work, but I do have all the material for you, and I trust the process.
And it's what they say too about like lottery winners, how they just lose all the money because they haven't developed the character, the skills it takes to be the kind of person who can hold that kind of
To hold that kind of
success.
money, yeah.
And so people who've earned the money, they've had to go through the the gauntlet to achieve it.
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so it's the kind of the same thing. It's like what we are learning is how to become the kind of people who can be wildly successful.
Yeah. I mean, what we're doing right now, for example, right? I mean, is that we are learning. As we're learning, we are delivering to you, and on a motivation way. All right, you can be anything you want it to be. You don't have to be us. You don't have to be online marketers. You don't have to be nothing that we are. All right, but you can create your own success character and be your own self. We believe that everybody has a dream. You know what I mean? Imagine if you can let your dream, shine. It's so beautiful, right?
We have a few videos if people are kind of new to our channel. We have one about how to define success for yourself and how to discover your purpose, your life purpose. So this can be helpful and give some context to this as well because, absolutely what Toby's saying, each of us has our own path that we're walking in life and our own dreams and our own goals. And so you have to start there with what is it that you want out of life? And then what kind of person will it take to really live and enjoy that life? So I have, the other thing I want to mention that before we started Entre, we did through Mind Valley, we did something called Lifebook. And so Toby and I really designed out what our ideal life would be. And part of that was looking at character traits that we would want to embody as well. So here's another list of, I did a lot of work on this actually. Googled a lot of character traits and really narrowed it down. Like what are the ones that we would like to embody? So maybe I've already mentioned some of these, but I'll just read through it really quick. Self-discipline and compassion, integrity, grace, fortitude, just being strong, being able to withstand like the cold or the heat or whatever, right? Resilience, optimism, courage, tranquility, perseverance, flexibility, open-mindedness, curiosity, generosity, gratitude, logic, humility, patience, and determination. So, just to say that we don't sit here and encourage you guys to do work that we don't do ourselves. Sit down, make your own list. What character traits would you like to bring into the next, we talk about doing it 10 years out, but then today, what the next 12 hours, who are you going to be? Right?
Yeah.
And practice those I ams. Write it down and practice them and repeat and repeat. Margaret says, where can we find your previous videos? So there's two places. If you're already a member of our private Facebook group, there's a tab that says media and then videos. However, those aren't labeled. Facebook doesn't give us a way to label those with titles. So I will drop a link to our YouTube channel, but you can always go and search YouTube for Awesome Space Life Space 101. Awesome Life 101. And you'll see our logo there. And you want to look in this one for how to define success and discovering your life purpose.
Yeah,
But I'll drop a link for our YouTube channel. If you're not subscribed, that would be awesome. We always put these videos in there, but then we also create other content that goes in there that doesn't come into the group.
yeah,
So.
yeah, true.
Well, thank you all for being here. Tovy, final words?
Yeah, my final words, I would say, this is one of the reason we have an Awesome Life 101. The idea of Awesome Life 101 is for you to bring your dream to us, and we help you to plan your dream so you can do it. We don't do it for you, but we help you to plan your dream so you can make a reality. So that's why Awesome Life 101 was created, is to help you to get your dream to reality. All right. So, contact us. Help us help you, to be successful.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here. We love you.
We love you guys.
Bye.
All right. Bye.